Thank you for attending VCC's Site Safety Orientation. This orientation is intended to provide a brief overview of VCC and its safety expectations. This safety orientation addresses some OSHA standards, industry best practices, and other general safety rules for work on VCC projects as a reminder for all employees, subcontractors, and visitors prior to accessing the job site. This session does not attempt to identify every potential hazard to which an employee could be exposed or every safety policy regulation applicable to this project site. Furthermore, it does not resolve any contractor on the project of its responsibility for the safety of its own employees and/or members of the general public affected by its operations. Since VCC's founding in 1987, we've had one goal: delivering excellence in construction. That's why we continue to be a leader in the construction industry. We make our clients our top priority and offer the expertise, resources, and partnership to build the best projects for our clients on budget and on time. No project is too small or too big for our team. We have completed projects all across the country and projects that range across the entire spectrum of product types. Whether the project involves retail, office, multifamily, hospitality, industrial, or other purposes, VCC has the best team, resources, and expertise for that project. Success starts with the talented people, and our people are our greatest asset. Every VCC employee works together internally and with the broader project team to ensure our vision is a success. We will be your partner and a true team member you can count on. VCC has built a reputation as a leading contractor in the nation. Our team has extensive experience building across the country and across all product types including mixed-use centers, enclosed malls, office buildings, educational, hospitality, healthcare, big box retail, multifamily, lifestyle centers, and entertainment. VCC's goal is to achieve an accident-free work environment on all project sites. The realization of this goal depends heavily upon the active participation and cooperation of subcontractors, project managers, supervisors, employees, and the coordination of their efforts with VCC in implementing basic safety program requirements. Here at VCC, we are building safety together. Almost everyone has family that is counting on them to return home every day. Let's take a moment. We want everyone to think. List to yourself 4 to 5 people that you care for greatly and would never want anything bad to happen to. Now, did you include yourself on that list? Remember that your safety is up to you. Do not take shortcuts when it comes to doing the job safely. Remember to look out for one another. If you recognize an employee being exposed to a hazard, speak up. And if you are on the receiving end, listen up. Someone is trying to help you. Personal protective equipment reduces exposure to physical, chemical, or health hazards when properly worn and maintained. Always wear the minimum required personal protective equipment: hard hat, safety glasses, high visibility vest, proper footwear with a hard sole. Additional PPE such as earplugs, respirators, gloves, etc. are required on an as-needed and/or task-specific basis. This equipment will be worn by all exposed employees when working conditions warrant or when directed by project supervision. Proper work attire shall be worn by all employees. No shorts or athletic footwear are allowed. Sturdy leather work boots or shoes must be worn. Shirts with a minimum 4-inch sleeve and long pants are mandatory. The wearing of clothing bearing illustration and/or wording that could be considered offensive to the general public is also prohibited. Head protection is required for all workers, engineers, inspectors, and visitors on the project site. Workers exposed to high voltage should wear at a minimum a Type 1 Class E hard hat rated for up to 20,000 volts. Safety glasses, which meet applicable ANSI Z87 standards, are required at all times while on the construction site. Prescription eyewear must be fitted with either adequate side shields or equivalent protections. Face shields should be worn when the entire face needs protection, grinding, chipping, etc. Workers must use filtered lenses that have a shade number appropriate for the work being performed for protection from injurious light radiation. Work areas must be kept clean. Trash, scrap materials, etc. must be regularly placed in waste containers or otherwise removed from the project site or work area. Keep stairs and exit paths free of trash, debris, or any type of obstruction. Hot work activities consist of any task that generates sparks, use an open flame, or emit extreme heat. Welding, cutting, grinding, tar kettles, etc. Hot work permits must be completed before the work can be performed. Be sure that a fire extinguisher is present during the activity. Do not use damaged or defective cords, tools, or equipment. Damaged cords, tools, or equipment must be tagged, discarded, or repaired by a qualified person prior to use. Do not remove protective guards from power tools and equipment. 100% fall protection is required for working at heights of 6 feet or more. All exposed employees will be protected from fall hazards via the use of personal fall arrest systems, guardrail systems, safety nets, or adequate warning lines which meet federal OSHA standards. Usage of monitors, controlled access, or controlled decking zone systems as a sole means of fall protection is prohibited. Ensure guardrails have a top rail, mid rail, and toe board, with the top rail ranging between 39 inches and 45 inches in height, mid rail at 21 inches high, and a toe board near the floor spanning at least 3.5 inches tall. If using wire rope as a guardrail, rope should be at least 1/4 inch thick with a deflection no more than 3 inches from the horizontal and flagged every 6 feet. Ensure personal fall protection systems include a good anchor point, a full body harness, and appropriate connecting devices. Ensure anchors will sustain at least a load of 5,000 pounds per person. Harnesses are worn properly and compatible with connecting devices. Inspect anchors, harnesses, and connecting devices for excessive wear or damage before each use. Select the right type of ladder depending on the job task, height required, and available space. Inspect ladders to ensure they are in good working condition prior to use, and immediately remove damaged ladders from service. Employees shall not stand on the top 2 steps of a self-supporting ladder. Keep your body within the rails. Maintain 3 points of contact while ascending or descending a ladder. All portable extension ladders must be secured from displacement, set up at a 4:1 ratio, and extend at least 3 feet above the landing or work surface when in use. All solvents, gasoline, and other flammable liquids must be kept in safety cans and labeled. A fire extinguisher must be located near all flammable storage areas. No open fires will be allowed on the project site. All 120 volt, 15 to 20 amp, temporary electrical or permanent power receptacles where the attachments of a power tool is not directly plugged into the outlet shall have ground fault circuit interrupters installed for personal protection. An assured equipment grounding program is recommended to be used in conjunction with the GFCI requirements. Make sure that electrical control panels are properly covered with no exposed live parts. Always use lockout-tagout to identify, control, and de-energize electrical machinery or equipment. Keep a safe distance from high voltage areas, overhead power lines, etc. Scaffolding must be erected and maintained in accordance with OSHA regulations. Do not use a scaffold unless you are trained and authorized to do so. Inspection tags should be utilized. While work is being performed, proper guardrails at a height of 6 feet, cross bracing, and a completely planked and secured work surface is required. Do not work or enter an excavation if you are not trained or authorized to do so. Do not enter an excavation or trench that does not use shoring, shielding, sloping, or benching to protect workers against soil collapse. Do not enter an excavation or trench where the accumulation of water is present. Dig permits must be completed before any excavation or trenching. Mobile equipment operators should check and ensure on a daily basis that all safety devices on forklifts, boom lifts, scissor lifts, and heavy construction equipment are working properly. Mobile equipment that is not functioning properly or has safety devices that are not working should be reported and taken out of service. All workers should be careful around mobile equipment to avoid being struck by or caught between mobile equipment or its moving parts. Only trained and authorized workers should use any type of boom lift or scissor lift. Workers should always keep their feet on the floor of the platform. Operators should be aware of their surroundings at all times. Only operate lifts when the floor or ground conditions are safe. Crane operators should inspect and ensure that all crane safety devices are functioning properly on a daily basis. Workers should inspect rigging equipment to ensure it is in good working condition with no excessive damage or wear. Workers should avoid entering danger zones established around a crane's swing radius and stay away or out from underneath overhead loads. All crews involved in silica dust generating activities such as concrete cutting, drilling, and grinding must implement exposure controls. Employers can either use a control method laid out in Table 1 of the construction standard, or they can measure workers' exposure to silica and independently decide which dust controls work best to limit exposures to their workplaces to the permissible exposure limit. Table 1 matches common construction tasks with effective dust control methods such as using water to keep dust from getting into the air or using a vacuum dust collection system to capture dust. In some operations, respirators may also be needed. Employers who follow Table 1 correctly are not required to measure workers' exposure to silica from those tasks and are not subject to the PEL. A safety data sheet must be available for all hazardous chemicals brought on site. All chemical products should be in appropriate containers and properly labeled with labels indicating the identity of the product and its associated hazards. Contractor employees must not report for duty under the influence of any drug or alcohol or even legally prescribed drugs and medicines which will in any way adversely affect their working ability, alertness, coordination, response, or adversely affect the safety of others on the project site. VCC requires every contractor to prohibit the use, sale, possession, or distribution of alcoholic beverages, intoxicants, narcotics, illegal or unauthorized drugs, including marijuana, look-alike simulated drugs, drug paraphernalia. VCC strictly prohibits the possession or use of weapons and/or firearms while on the project site or in the designated parking areas. Violations can result in the violator being immediately removed and banned from the project site for the duration of the project. All accidents, near misses, and other incidents, including injury and/or property damage occurring on the project site or in any designated parking areas, shall be immediately reported to your employer. All contractors and their employees shall take all necessary precautions to protect the public, the facilities, the personnel, and nearby tenants of the project from any hazards involving safety and health arising from their scope of work. All construction operations shall be isolated from the public to the greatest extent possible. Employees shall be courteous to the public at all times. Do not use obscenities, vulgar language, and/or whistle or yell at members of the public. If you see an unauthorized person enter the project site, tell them they are in a restricted construction area and ask them to leave in a polite manner. For emergency evacuations, a three-step plan will be used. Number 1, stop working immediately. Number 2, evacuate the facility or job site at the nearest exit. Number 3, meet at the primary meeting location. If the primary muster point is unavailable due to the emergency, then you should meet at the secondary meeting location until further notice is given from VCC management to return to work. If subcontractors are not administering disciplinary action for safety policy violators, VCC will. This disciplinary action may include anything up to and including removal of any subcontracted employee or the termination of the subcontractor's contract with VCC. VCC has zero tolerance with regards to any employee engaging in fighting, creating a disturbance, or horseplay on the project site or in designated parking areas. Any employee found with a weapon and/or firearm in their possession while on the project site or designated parking areas. Any employee found working under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or non-prescribed tranquilizers, narcotics, or other drugs, or possession of the same. Any act of blatant disregard for safety policies and/or procedures. Violations can result in the violator being immediately removed and banned from the project site for the duration of the project. Upon the completion of this orientation, employees will be issued a hard hat sticker that is valid for the duration of this project. If an employee leaves the project to work elsewhere and returns at a later date without his or her original sticker, that employee must immediately report to the VCC project office before starting work in order to obtain a new sticker. Anyone seen working on the project without a VCC safety orientation hard hat sticker will be asked to leave the project site. Thank you for your attention. VCC appreciates your time to attend this safety orientation and your help in achieving our goal to prevent construction-related incidents on the job site.